MotorWeek is made possible by Tire Rack.
Gone are the days when dealers could sell you any old hag wrapped in the latest fashions. Gone, too, are the days when Japanese cars had meaningless numbers and letters attached to various models. It's all out in the open now, and a whole new terminology is being used. The latest car maker to jump on this bandwagon is Misubishi, finally selling cars under their own name. And their flagship, this spaceship called the Starion.
No, I didn't mispronounce the name. It is Starion, not Stallion, like almost everyone thought when word about the car first leaked out. Nobody seems to be quite sure where the name came from, which means it's probably the work of some computer. It doesn't really matter, since the colloquial definition will be something like samurai road rocket. The Starion is the latest and most distinctively styled of the recent rash of sports coupes from Japan. The chiseled cowcatcher nose is complete with disappearing halogen headlights, and the theme is continued with a deep air dam that makes the Starion aerodynamically very slippery. There are a few too many styling doodads for our taste, no less than 3 fake hood vents, and the fully openable hatch breaks much too abruptly from the roof. But it does have a few redeeming social values too. For instance, all Starions are turbocharged. Any time under 10 seconds for a flash from 0 to 60 is considered fast by today's standards. The Starion's 9 seconds thus qualifies handily. With the largest 4-cylinder you can buy and a tiny turbo to boost, power is low to mid-range. To wit, a super-fast passing time of 4 seconds from 40 to 55. Stoplight dragging should also be a winning experience, with only slight second-gear wheel spinning and a time of 9.7 seconds and 60 miles per hour over our 500-foot course. Finally, the quarter mile disappeared rapidly through crisp changes of the Starion's 5-speed manual, 17 seconds and 83 miles per hour, clearly enough to wind up in most traffic courts without a second chance. While straight-line dashes were effortless and near perfection, handling also rates high. Through a tight slalom course, the car ducks quickly from plowing understeer to tail-hanging oversteer. Yet the quick rack and pinion steering unit lets you concentrate on the road and not the car. You could probably leave the rear end in space a bit too long, and there is a sense that the steering's power boost unit could not handle this lane change faster. Yet few drivers are ever likely to push the Starion hard enough to find out. On the other hand, the sticky Japanese-made Goodrich radials and 4-wheel independent suspension allow secure transits through our emergency avoidance test, making the well-balanced Starion just right for slipping through any blacktop hole. Braking lets the Starion shine even brighter. The optional computerized anti-lock system that includes a limited slip differential automatically modulates rear-wheel braking pressure. The result is a quick stopping average of a very short 32 feet from 30 miles per hour, with only a mushy brake pedal to give us any complaint. With ventilated disc brakes at all corners, stops from 55 were also straight and without fade. And try as we might, we couldn't overwork the anti-lock system. 6 panic stops averaged a very impressive 104 feet, with not one tire stopping before it was supposed to. Clearly, the Starion should be able to visit even the smallest asteroid. The feeling of being in a spaceship continues on the interior. They greet you with electronic music and optional velour-covered seats that have more adjustments than those on the space shuttle. While slightly too firm, but with oodles of support in all the right places, their only major drawback is enough rearward travel to be perfect for astronauts taller than 5'10". Rear seat passengers will be limited to the little green variety. But at least they won't see red by having to crawl over the front shoulder belts. The Starion has them hinged neatly on the door panels. The only problem to this design is that when strapped in, you can't open the door. Still, it's a long overdue change. The rest of the interior is less ingenious but very competent, with a full-width dash that looks more expensive than on most Japanese cars. The instrument pod on our car featured inverted L-shaped gauges and an electronic speedometer, tach, and boost gauge. The only trouble here was that the tach often lagged real engine RPM, a problem when shifting to the numbers. The standard mechanical gauge package will probably suit enthusiasts better. Luggage capacity is also somewhat deceiving. Despite a large hatch and split rear seats, our 4 bags fit only with difficulty. But there's no deception under the hood. The superb 2.6-liter silent shaft power plant is mated to throttle body fuel injection and a tiny but well-suited Mitsubishi-made turbocharger. Although boost is limited to 7.5 pounds per square inch, this effective combination delivers 145 horsepower and 185 pounds of torque. And just when you thought this space program was probably impractical, the EPA rates the turbo Starion at 22 city and 32 highway. Our actual mileage was a quite reasonable 27. In addition, this 2,960-pound Samurai Warrior is something of a bargain. Base price is $12,080, and our top-of-the-line luxury sport model is $13,900. Easily more car for the yen than its costlier rivals, the Datsun 280ZX Turbo or Toyota Celica Supra. But then the Starion isn't quite as refined as those rivals either. At first launch, we found rough spots that ranged from styling to gauges to usable space. But clearly it's an interesting car that will be easily smoothed with experience. And no doubt we'll soon see Starions in the eyes of thousands.